In this video, I'm going to be repotting some indoor plants, so let's get started. The ones we're going to be doing today is a Monstera Adansonii, which I'm going to do first, and down there's also a Philodendron white princess. So we'll do the Adansonii first. It definitely needs a bigger pot, as you can see. And yeah, so I'll go find a pot and I'll be right back. Okay, so I found a reasonably sized pot, as you can see, and we're just going to start filling it up with some soil. This was just some old soil that was already mixed up. And now we're going to get the plant out of its pot. We might have to take the stake off first. I put a stake in some of my vining plants so they don't totally fall over. It doesn't look very nice, but I think it's worth it. Because as you can see, after I'm taking this stake out, the plant's sort of already falling over. So just get this wire out of the way. It's a bit annoying. There we go. I'll take the stake out and let's get it out of its pot. Okay, so root system isn't that big, but it's enough. That's actually a really small root system for that size plant. Yeah, that'll still be good for the pot. I might get a little bit of that back out. Maybe get a bit of the chunky stuff in there, and off we go. So I think I'm going to position it this way, and then I'm just going to get some of this new soil and plop it right in. So this method of repotting is pretty common. There's actually nothing much you can change, but I know some people take the old pot and put it inside the new one to create like a perfect hole, but I don't really bother with that. So as you can see, we're pretty much done with the first plant. I'll just get some more soil in there, and we might reuse the stake, because why not? Just wiggle it in there, and I'll get the tie. I think it's somewhere in this. There we go. And make sure you're not, it's hard to explain, but make sure the actual tie is against the plant. You don't want the sort of twisted end to be pressing against the stem, because I find sometimes it can sort of cut into the plant. And there we go. It is a bit crooked, but it'll fix itself up. And that's the first plant all done. Okay, it's time for the next plant. So this is a Philodendron white princess. Some of its leaves have sort of got stuck unfurling. The newest one doesn't look very nice, but hopefully this repot will give it a head start. So you can see it's sort of falling over, and that's because it's sort of too high in the pot. So we'll start by getting it out of the pot. I am going to make some new soil. I've got the bags under the table. Okay, so, oh, it's a cutting. It's pretty cool. You can see the old stem. Now, I've noticed with this sort of very fine soil, some plants do well and some plants hate it, because some of my plants in this sort of fine mix, they just totally rotted, and others, like one of my Thai constellation before I repotted it, they absolutely loved it. And the only reason I had to repot that Thai constellation was because it was way too big for the pot, but yeah. So this root is really stuck to the pot, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm just sort of crumbling down the soil, if you'd say it like that. Okay, so this plant doesn't really need a repot. I think I'll just reuse the same pot, but the roots look good. So sorry for the plane overhead and the cars going by, gosh. But I'm just going to mix up some new soil, because even though the plant's been growing well, the soil isn't the best. So I'll just push that to the side. There. And I'll just leave that there for now. It'll be fine while I mix up the soil. I've got my soil down here, well, the components that make it up. I'll start with some orchid bark. So, there, got the tie, throw that on the ground. And this is basically the bark that I use in my mix. So I'll get some of that out. You want a very chunky mix for your alloys, usually. Now we'll get some perlite. There's not much actual soil in my alloy mix, it's mostly just chunky stuff. So I might get a bit of this old Adansonii I mix into there. Get a bit more perlite. You can never have too much perlite. That's my motto. So mix that all up. Close this bag because I don't want perlite around. Gosh, that was a loud car. And we want a little bit of charcoal just for fun. So you need about 10% of this in your mix. I'd say that'll be about that much. So in you go. Close the bag. And yes. Okay. Mix that up all nice. And off we go. So I'd start by putting some soil in. That's a bit too much. Take some out. Then it's a bit funky because of this long root, but I think I'll just spiral it around. You know, it's a bit random, but I think it'll work. And we'll just fill in the soil. So, I think I made the perfect amount. Yeah, I did. That was pretty good. Okay, and there's the Philodendron White Princess all done. So I hope you enjoyed this repotting video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.